Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to see one of our club members who is starting a new railroad. This is his second railroad empire. Come on along and let's see what we've got. Okay, so here we are at Bob's house. This is Bob, one of our train club members, and he's starting his second railroad empire. So, Bob, what are your plans for the railroad?
Well, what I'd like to do is kind of incorporate some raised and ground level track. I've got several levels, as you'll see here behind me, and I've also got a great crawl space under the house that I wanted to use to store the trains when I'm not running them. So Mark and I are looking at ways we can incorporate different track designs and layouts into the various levels of my landscape here.
Right, and he's going to be doing a little level work to try things out. So he's got the use of a level to use for a while. We'll see how his leveling skills are and his program. You're planning on using a rail program to get your general layout?
Yep, yeah, I have one of the software programs, so I was going to try to use that to come up with some of the different areas where I want to have the track run.
And Bob does have an interesting predicament here because, like my place, there's a lot of raised elevations and lowered elevations, so he's going to have some real interesting design work to do here.
Yep, so that's Mark and I are discussing different ways to have the raised layout or raised track supported. So our club members have used a lot of different techniques, so I'm drawing on their expertise to see what I can do to make mine work successfully.
And that's a nice thing, having a lot of club members to help you out. We'll get on with this project and we'll see what the rest of the area is going to look like here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is another section of Bob's Railroad. And how are your plans here going, Bob?
Well, I've laid a few pieces of track out here to see how my planned 10-foot diameter circle is going to look, and probably have just some of the track come around the rhododendrons here, maybe a little trestle here where it drops down, and possibly a little spur with a couple buildings underneath the plants here. And then if we pan over, this is a little bit raised area here where I'd kind of like to have maybe a town scene that's up closer to the driveway. And then to get there, we're going to come across this walkway here and have it raised up out toward the street there, and then come back so we can gain some elevation to get to that upper level.
Okay, so here we are out front, and from the circle over here, where are you going to go, Bob?
I'm going to try to plan for something along the front of the house here, either on one side of the sidewalk or the other. Nice long, possibly a double track main line over to the other side of the house, and that's where we're going to try to enter the crawl space for the train storage.
And that's another good example. Let's go see the crawl space.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are at the side of the house.
Yep. So this is something that I really wanted to draw on some expertise from the club members of how to get the trains into the crawl space. So I can kind of get it up to this point, but getting in here is the next challenge. So here we are, and there's the crawl space that has ample room for train storage, which will really be great.
But it's a little tough getting into because this is the only wood section on the the house foundation. Everything else is about 8 to 10 inch thick concrete poured.
Yep.
So we do have a couple of ideas,
Yeah.
and
Well, so that's, we're talking about ideas and bridges and different things, and so we can get access in there. Be really nice to be able to just drive the trains in and not have to pick them up off the track every time I want to run.
unfortunately, that's what you had to do back in Linwood at your
Right.
other house, was
Yep.
pick everything up every time you wanted to come in.
The progress on the
Oh,
wall
yeah.
removal.
Okay.
So all we have to do is pour the cement.
Have you figured out where you want your rails to come in, here or over here?
It'll be underneath here. So
Okay, right in there.
Underneath, yep.
Okay.
Because I don't want them hanging over the
Right,
stairs.
right.
So I think I can, because I kind of laid that
That'll
out
be good.
before we started taking this all apart. And if I
Okay.
angle it in here, kind of right
Right.
off the corner there, and I can hit a 10-foot radius curve and then just hook it
Okay.
in out there. Yep.
So is your plan then to reverse the door so
Yeah.
the hinges are on the other side? Okay.
Yep. Okay, so what the eventual plan is to have a loop here, reverse loop, so that I can have kind of a continuous run on the main line. There'll be a branch that comes off of this that goes to the crawl space around the corner to the right here. As we progress along, we've got some flat area here, so the plan is to have a double-ended yard and have maybe an industry station along here, and then the yard would come back onto the main line here. It makes a slight bend. We've got another kind of flat area where I'd have another little more of a town scene, and maybe an industrial spur of some kind. And then down over the bank, my plan is to have a logging spur kind of drop down in there and meander through the different bushes and have a logging operation that I can run my Shay locomotive down into, which would be a little bit of a drop off there, but I think it'll do just fine. So, and then continuing on, we'll probably have a double main line here, and then it'll head around the corner and over to another small loop over there.
Cool. That's
So
pretty
that's-
good. That's going to be a beautiful railroad.
The eventual plan. Now, in the future, down there, I'm also contemplating having a small airstrip, and then down at the far end, since I'm modeling in the early 70s era, I was thinking of having a construction zone, which is another one of my favorite things, where they're bringing the interstate into the area. So we'll have a little interstate bridge under construction down there. So that'll be kind of fun.
Cool. Well, thank you, Bob.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to come back when Bob starts laying track, and we'll see how things come out.
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
thank you, Bob.
Yep.